This is the Hypothetically Sound podcast,
hosted by Alec, Randy, and Xavier,
where we take a hypothetical look at the world around us,
exploring the what ifs, maybes, and how comes.
Join in on the unfiltered, raw, and real conversations
as we explore the world around us. Welcome back to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you are having a great day. As always, I am one of your hosts, Randy, joined by the other, Alec.
Yo.
And we are on album 93 of Apple Music's top 100 albums of all time. We are on Solange's A Seat at the Table.
Yeah, man.
What did you know about Solange knows other than her sister being Beyonce before this album?
I know she had like this like underground following type deal.
Mm-hmm.
From her initial like EP, I think.
Yeah, EP. Yeah.
I didn't hear a lot of it. I heard bits and pieces of her songs. She's a very black forward artist.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great in general.
Yeah.
Focusing a lot on black struggles and black women's struggles, which I think is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know where it came from. But I had a bias towards her of dislike, and I don't know why. Like, after listening to the album, I don't know where it was, but for some reason, I always thought, and it could have been some stupid Facebook, Twitter thing that I saw one time, that she just wasn't talented, and she was getting songs because of Beyonce and things like that. And so, like, I never sought out her music, which was a mistake by me, wholeheartedly, after listening to her album.
I feel like it's like unavoidable when your sister is literally one of the greatest artists of all time.
Yeah.
So it's fair, but her music is completely different than Beyonce. Like
100%.
Like they are very distinct voices, very distinct styles, very distinct subject matter.
Yeah, where Beyonce is definitely like pop R&B. She can be soulful R&B at times in certain albums. Solange is a neo-soul funk R&B artist. This is, I believe, her third studio album. Was released in 2016. She has people on her album like Lil Wayne, Q-Tip, The Dream, BJ the Chicago Kid, Kelly Rowland, and then every interlude or most of the interludes on the album are actually recorded by Master P, and is a story that she and Master P like sat down and they talked about, and it's kind of like Master P's life. So I found that to be a really cool addition to the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they grew up around Master P, so apparently their friend or their parents are real good friends with him. So that was also interesting to learn about because I didn't know that.
Yeah, same. So yeah, I enjoyed the album, and we're gonna get in and see how much I enjoyed the album. So we start with number 1, Rise. What did you think?
Yeah, I didn't give a lot of notes to it. Rise, it's a good start to the album. You know, it's a solid like 7 out of 10. It really just puts you into her voice and her style. It's soothing, just good sound.
And like I've said in previous episodes, like I started getting more nitpicky with my scores. And so like if nothing blows me away, I'm not giving high scores anymore. That's just how it turns out. So just like you said, I don't think the song was anything amazing, nothing showstopper, but I do think it was a nice showcase of her voice early on. It's a short track. It's under 2 minutes. It wasn't supposed to be anything overly amazing. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yes, sir.
Then we move to track number 2 called Weary. I thought it was a nice, slow song. Showed off her voice very well. I said it reminded me of some of the late 90s music, 90s R&B, and that's a great spot for me personally. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I also gave this one a 7 out of 10. And this is where I started like paying attention more to her lyrics as well. This song in particular was talking about the sexual hierarchy of the world and like was just questioning it. Yeah. Along with like a call to fight for yourself and your purpose. Again, this is a very black forward, woman forward type album. So that's what a lot of the songs are about. and she starts with it very quickly in the puts the premise down very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And with the interludes, as we mentioned before, about SP talking about his life, that's also, and even like her mom and stuff at times, it is very, very, you get into the theme of it very quickly.
Mm-hmm. And one thing this is one album that I do want to go back and listen to and have lyrics up on screen as like I'm listening, because I didn't focus super hard on the lyrics. Honestly, a lot of the songs I just like listened to her voice and the music and just like vibed. I didn't watch anything while I listened to this album. I just got really into the album and the musicality of it, and not so much the lyrics of it. And that's something I want to go back and redo.
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend that.
So track number 3 is an interlude called "The Glory in You." It wasn't my favorite interlude on the album. I did score the interlude, so I'm just going to give quick scores. I didn't write notes on them. I gave it a 3 out of 10 towards all the interludes.
I do believe the interludes are super important to the whole album as a whole, as a concept. I, however, did not score them at all. Fair. This one was just I did make like minor notes, but this one is very, very quick. It's a very quick interlude. It's like 30 seconds, honestly. At the time, like I was a little zoned out, and it went from song, interlude, song, and I thought it was literally just part of the next song, which is Cranes in the Sky.
Yeah. What did you think of Cranes in the Sky?
Oh, dude, it seemed like a very, very vulnerable song. Obviously, it's only the third one there, but it was different. You can tell it was different. I looked up some stuff on it afterwards, and apparently this was the only song on the whole album that was written out of context of the album. Like, it wasn't written for the album.
Yeah.
She had written this 8 years previous to the album even being made. And like in her voice, you can hear like the sadness when she sings about the subject matter and the rough times that she had up to it. I gave it 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a very smooth track. I said it was just a vibe listening to it. And like I said, didn't focus super hard on the lyrics, which is on me, but I just really enjoyed the sound of it. Even like listening to it now as we're going through this, like I listened to the full track as we were talking, and her voice is amazing. Like it's what I came out of this whole entire album is like she has a very incredible voice. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Then we moved to another interlude called "Dad Was Mad." I gave it a 6 out of 10. So obviously I liked the interlude. It was a good interlude.
Just for reference, it's talking about integrating into society as a Black individual with gangs and like the KKK, like coming up with the KKK being prevalent where they're from, which was Louisiana at the time ish. So
yeah,
and it again perfectly fits into the next song, which is "Mad" featuring Lil Wayne. I really enjoyed this song. It's a very simple song, and I remember telling Randy, like, we don't really talk often. You hear her say that every episode. But in this one, I told him that it was really hard I have like a paragraph. It was really hard to like word it because it's a lot deeper than the surface level it gives you. It like answering the question, the like, you're famous and living good. What do you have to be mad about? Question.
Yeah.
While like Solange focuses on the stereotypes given to like Black Americans and breaks down like the angry Black woman stereotypes as well in her like pre-chorus and at the end. She gives up trying to justify herself and her feelings because like you're not gonna make anyone happy, right? They're not gonna fully understand. Wayne verse visits what he has to be upset with life, and he also talks about like not just his fame, but like all the issues that came with it, including mentioning what I feel like is him admitting a suicide attempt when he was 13, when he shot himself in the chest when he was 12 or 13, which I think is like the only time he like references it as that. Otherwise, it's always just an accident. It's a great song. It's a great feature. It's again much deeper than it seems. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic song. Her style is definitely the slower, heartfelt songs. She does it very well. I think the mix in general with Lil Wayne and her flows greatly. If I'm being nitpicky, Wayne's verse takes a little bit for him to get in flow with the flow of the song. He starts a little fast for me, but then he catches it, and the verse becomes really good. It's only like literally the first like 6 bars, and then he gets on, and it sounds a lot better. So I think if he was slower from the start, it maybe had a little more ebb and flow, it would have been perfect. I did give the song an 8 out of 10. Like I said, it's a good song, has a lot of meaning. It's just she surprised me on this album with how much I enjoyed her music. Which takes us to track number 7 called "Don't You Wait."
Yeah, this was definitely a different type of beat and vibe to the song. It was almost 80-ish.
Yeah.
I never heard her EP, and the song apparently directly references some things in it, and references the fans and critics of it. So I kind of wish that I had heard the EP so I could fully like embrace this.
Yeah.
But she's essentially saying that she's not going to conform to the norm and make generic type songs and stick to what she wants to do and release it when she wants, right? But sound wise, it's a good song overall. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I also gave the song a 7 out of 10. Like I said, I didn't think super deep about the songs, and maybe now that I'm like we're talking about it, I'll do this for future albums. But like I just really enjoyed the sound of this album. And like I use the word vibe a lot in a lot of these notes I took. And I said in this one, I'm just enjoying the album, the sound of the album. I said I'm just sitting here listening and thinking. Which is good, like what I like to do. I'm constantly in my head, constantly thinking, and this music allowed me to do that in a like comfortable space, a safe space. Like I would hear her say something and I would think on what she was saying. And did I miss some of the lyrics? Most definitely, but like the music let me be in that space, and it was great. Like I said, I did give this one a 7 out of 10. Which leads into I think my favorite interlude on the album called Tina Taught Me. I gave it an 8 out of 10. And I said people who will listen to this album, if they listen because we listen to it, and you're not into the social issues, you will see Tina Taught Me as woke. And I think it points out that being pro something isn't being anti something. And unless you make it anti something. And that's what it kind of talks about with Tina. She's saying like I'm pro this, pro that, but it doesn't mean that I'm anti-white or I'm anti this or anti that. It just I believe in those things, but I believe in this one more strongly. And I think people forgot that you can be more than one thing. Like you're not entitled to only having one emotion or one thought.
Yeah. Also, I feel like this whole album could be seen as like some woke propaganda stuff, depending on the person listening to it. Like, again, I went deeper into it than you did, but it was mostly because like I was just intrigued with like the initial of like cranes in the sky, even Barry, of like what was going on with this whole album, and so yeah, that's why I went in depth with it in it.
Yeah,
and it is definitely something that like I can see a lot of people not giving it a chance because of the content, but it is good. It is very good. But yeah, Tina Taught Me leads into "Don't Touch My Hair," which fits really well with the topic of the song, like even the title, right? Because Solange uses this song as a way to set limits to which she's willing to compromise her beliefs.
Yeah,
which again fits into Tina Taught Me. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory for most people on why like "Don't Touch My Hair" is important to like, especially Black women. But just in case you didn't know, in Black culture, it's like an extension of yourself.
Yeah,
Like, And like with the texture difference, a lot of time, the texture difference and just style differences, a lot of times I've experienced it. I'm sure you have, where people come up and will just touch your hair.
I was going to comment. I was like, the amount of times growing up where I would have a fade and people would want or buzz cut and they would come like, "Ooh, I want to touch your hair," and then when it starts growing out, "Ooh, I want to touch your hair." Like, I get it, especially as a mixed person. I get it. We have very unique hair types. Like, some mixed people have very coarse hair. Like you have much more coarser hair than I do. I have very much straight, like more closer to white people hair. But like it's awkward because like you're seen as like you feel like you're being seen as like an animal that's in the zoo that people can't see anywhere else. Like, and I feel like that's how like what she's getting on with the last two tracks is it's like we're not this animal that needs to be preserved or gawked at. Like we are just like you. Like especially at this point in time, like there's nothing to be surprised about from any culture anymore. Like we know enough about every culture that nothing should surprise us or be, oh, I haven't seen that before. That's you. That is a lack of you trying at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, overall, I gave this an 8 out of 10. It was a good song, you know. Again, just using the hair example to say that the culture and pride ain't a sideshow attraction, as you were saying. So, it's good. It's just good.
Yeah, I said it has a nice, funky sound, great harmonies. Because it does have a feature, Sampra. It's a good song. Again, another song where you just have it on at home and be cleaning or hanging out with people, and it keeps the mood good. While even she's touching on these topics, like the sound and everything is very peaceful. I did give it a 7 out of 10. Which leads into another interlude. Like we said, there's a lot of interludes. This one's called This Moment. Didn't take any notes on it. I just gave it a 7 out of 10. So it's another good.
It goes with Don't Touch My Hair. That's literally all I put.
Mm-hmm.
That it goes with the last song. So yeah, if you just want to hear Don't Touch My Hair, listen to Tina Taught Me, Don't Touch My Hair, and then follow it with This Moment to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Get the complete experience. Oh yeah, no, I just pulled it up. It is literally an extension to Don't Touch My Hair. So extra like 40-second interlude.
Yeah.
So like it keeps the beat and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That puts us into Where Do We Go?
Yeah.
I really like this song. I gave it 8.5 out of 10. I recommend it's a lot. There's a lot. It's about Solange's family history and stuff. I recommend going on like Genius or somewhere to find out more about the song.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a song that's about being outcasted from a place that you felt like you once belonged, and then feeling lost and not fully understanding what the next steps are after being forcefully removed from said place, which apparently happened to Solange's family. They were essentially forcefully moved out of Louisiana, like pushed out of Louisiana. So,
obviously, we're looking at the tracks in two different completely ways, which is fantastic. I thought this track did a great job of showing off her range and control. Musically, she has an immense voice and power in her voice. And one thing is clear with this album: a lot of thought was put into the construction of the tracks, from melodies to harmonies to beat to range to everything, storytelling. A lot of thought was put into this album, and that doesn't happen a lot with some albums nowadays. So it was really refreshing listening to. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Which takes us into another interlude, track number 12, called For Us, By Us, which leads into track 13, which is Fubu. I did give the interlude an 8 out of 10. I don't remember what the interlude was talking about because I didn't take notes on it. But again, I think it fed, obviously, I thought it fed very well into the future song that was coming up.
Yeah, I mean, of course, For Us, By Us. If you don't understand, essentially, it's Master P saying, if you don't understand my record, you don't understand my album, you just don't understand me.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like Rand said, it fits into the next song, Fubu, featuring The Dream, which is just encapsulating on the quote from Master P that I just gave you.
Mm-hmm.
it's the track that also like represents the American, like the Black American brand FUBU, right? Like
Yeah.
for us, by us, you know, it's a Black entire empowerment type anthem. I think it's my favorite on the track. I gave it an 8.5.
This is also my favorite iconic track. This is featuring The Dream and BJ the Chicago Kid, two people I'm gonna look up after this. Like after I'm done listening to all this new music, they were on a list that I have. I said I felt like this song was like a college open mic night, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in this song would be great in small venues. Like she's a new artist coming up, and this is her hit. Like if there's a movie, like she's a small artist and she's going bar to bar and place to place, coffee shops playing her music, and this is a song that people fall in love with. Like listening to it now as we're talking, I want to be like 10 feet away from her as she sings this song in a small room because it's an intimate song. And it's everything about it is amazing. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
That's fair. Yeah, I really did enjoy the song. It was really good. And again, the interlude just empowers it.
Then moving to track 14, which is Borderline featuring Q-Tip. I thought it was a good song. It's not my favorite on the album. Just something was missing for me, or maybe this is one of those where I did listen to this all the way through, and so maybe this is just one of the songs I checked out of. I said kind of forgot I was listening to it at times, and just listened to the beat and got lost. But obviously I liked the beat for it. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, same. It like the beat was good. It features Q-Tip, so you know something's going down in the back. I think it's a mixture of her referencing a relationship and or is like about balancing herself with the struggles of the world that she engages as a Black individual. However, the second part is more of just like a educated guess just based off of what is presented to us so far through the album.
Yeah.
And I gave that a 7 out of 10. Like it was I for her, I guess. Like that's still pretty good.
And then we move to 15, which is another interlude, which is essentially it's featuring Kelly Rowland and Nia Andrews, and they're kind of just riffing together in the booth. So it's the three of them talking about how basically how good they are, like in a non condescending way. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's a nice little 30-second clip of just them extra cutting floor stuff.
Yeah. I gave it a 8. Oh, sorry. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I was lots of interludes, lots of notes in a row. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I gave Junie a 7.5 out of 10. It's funky. I love Andre 3000. It's very different than everything else on the album. So I enjoyed it. Though. I love Andre 3000. Definitely.
Yeah.
These features on this album are insane, in my opinion. Like I love almost every single person that shows up. So
And we move to track number 16, Junie. Just like anybody.
Maybe not just you, Junie.
No, I was talking about the interlude.
Oh fuck! I just did.
Oh, okay, then I'll go. So he was talking about Junie. I'm also talking about Junie now. I thought it was good. I do notice a lot with music in the 2010s plus is people find their sound, and it's not a bad thing. But like if you look at some of the older albums like the Eagles and some of the older rock and even hip hop and R&B, like they like make sure to have a range of sounds. And nowadays people find their sound and like stick in that area. And a lot of her albums can start sounding the same because it is that dark, funky sound. And this song is a little more upbeat, but that's like where it changes is Like the songs either are mid like tone, or they're upbeat or sad. And there's just not a huge difference between them. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, people find their sound and they stay close to it, and then it's not a bad thing. It's a chill vibe, slightly more upbeat. I enjoyed it. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Just really, I gave that one a 7.5 out of 10 as well, Junie. You're gonna have to cut this part. I'm sorry. For these last ones, I accidentally put I didn't give Interlude its own thing. I just put Interlude goes into Junie, and that was it. So I got confused, and I apologize.
No, all good. We moved to another interlude called No Limits. Yep. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think this is when I realized that the interludes were about Master P. Or like a lot of the interludes were about Master P. Because I just didn't pay attention to the voice that was talking. And then obviously this interlude, if you know who Master P is him talking about how he came up with No Limits. And it's good. It was interesting hearing him talk about it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I do think the interludes make the album much more impactful than if they weren't there. It is like getting a look into people's diaries and lives, which is cool.
And they also perfectly set up and tie in so well, because the quotes that are chosen are so masterfully done that not a word is wasted. It feels like in these they're only 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I think the longest one's maybe almost a minute. They're really short, and they don't waste the words that are used. They always fit into the whole subject matter of the song that they, in my opinion.
No, 100%. So this one, No Limits, leads into Don't Wish Me Well, which is track 18 on the album. I really liked the beat of this one. I like the steady kick that they decided to go with in this song. Her voice is on full display. I really like the song. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Again, it fits into the No Limits interlude really well, because it's really about her just moving forward and growing. And although she's saying that in the song, it is quite face value. She's saying you can keep up with her if you want, or you can stay behind, but she's not stopping. She is still going to be growing. Which again fits in the Masterpiece No Limits.
Yeah. And what you said, you gave it an 8 out of 10?
Yep, 8 out of 10.
And then we move to track number 19, which is another interlude. The last interlude, called Pedestals. I really like this pedestal interlude. Apparently, and in leading into Scales, which is the last track on the album. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's just it's Masterpiece, not his final world, but it is Masterpiece just telling us and calling on self-care. So,
which is huge. And this is gonna be a little off topic. Just talking about Black community, growing up in the Black community, even as a mixed person. Mental health and self-care aren't two words that I knew before college. They just weren't talked about, at least in the 90s and early 2000s, growing up. So depression wasn't a thing. I knew people I didn't know anybody who committed suicide or anything like that when I was younger.
But you had to thug it out, dog.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's life sucks. Life is hard. We're poor. We're this.
Hard. Yeah.
That's
the thing, right? Is in the community at the time, everyone we were around also just added the same. It was the same.
And unfortunately, it was a very bad mindset. It's not a bad mindset to keep pushing, but it's a bad mindset to not accept help and not to understand that some things can be helped.
Yeah, and it's a mindset that, although at first it's good because it does help you carry on, it does have a negative side effect to it of you not being able to. It becomes toxic to yourself.
That's and I wholeheartedly believe that's why addiction rates, heart disease, stress-related diseases are so high in African American communities because we just, for the longest, like, refused to accept that, like, there were things out of our control that we could fix. Like, we know that there's a lot of issues that are out of control that we're never going to be able to fix in our lifetime, but there are things that we could fix, and we just didn't accept it. And I get, and it's completely off topic, but that's what this reminded me of. The pedestals leading into scales. Speaking of scales, which is track number 20, the last track, the actual like musical track. I think it was a great ending to the album. It's a nice slow jam. I feel like some cool dances and storytelling can be done with this song. It's very much spoken word or a song that would be played as the like storytelling dancing. I can't think of the word of the actual like art of it, but that someone would put on for a concert or a show or something like that. It's very purposeful beats, very purposeful lyrics that would be very easy to tell a story to through movement. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I feel like this song is a lot in such a short amount of time. It's not letting others media determine your self-worth, in both a good and bad sense. The song focuses on like a local drug dealer, where the media glorifies and like you see on Twitter people appropriating what he does, and he sees this and believes he's the man from it, while at the same time he has his mom and friends and close ones and loved ones telling him that this is wrong, this is bad. But in his head, he's also just doing it like for them, like to get the money to help out and all this stuff,
Yeah.
And it just shows how easy it is to get confused and how some things are glorified when they shouldn't, and makes like you assume your self-worth / go into things that you probably shouldn't, or don't do things you probably could do. In another, for not drug dealing specifically, like don't sell drugs, but like like you see media, you see someone say this is hard, and you're like, yeah, it's too hard for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was good. It was 7 out of 10.
And then we get to the closing monologue of the album. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And I think his masterpiece last words are very powerful. The whole thing is about understanding our worth as a community. He says our great 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 grandparents came in as slaves, but we're leaving as royalty. And I think that's something like, while there's still a lot that needs to be fixed for minorities in general and Black people specifically, we do also have to understand everything that our ancestors went through to give us this opportunity.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, again, I think it was a very good message. Saying that we're the chosen ones because we are the outcome of the journey, the good and the bad that our ancestors had to go through. Like we are the results of that, good or bad. We are the results of that, and the only thing you can do is make the best of it.
And give your children a better life by fighting just like your ancestors did to give you a better life.
Yep.
Overall, it was a great album. It's so powerful, and like talking about it just again shows how powerful the album is. I'm going to listen to it again more in depth, like take my time listening to every track with lyrics. I gave the album a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, so my album, the median came out to 7.75 out of 10. It is tied for Usher's The Confession for me.
Nice.
But however, they are two very different albums. And again, I do think if you're one of those people that don't like that don't fully comprehend a lot of the meaning of the songs or can't relate super hard, I think you'll struggle to enjoy the album for more than a sound reason.
Yeah.
Or if you're someone who is quote unquote sick of propaganda,
Yeah,
You
it's not an
definitely
album for
won't
you.
like it. Yeah, but like honestly, if you're black or you're just curious about like some of the struggles and stuff, like this is a very very good empowering type album.
And it sounds like when you hear it, when he was like, "If you're black, you'll like this album," but that's who the target audience was for her album, were people that would understand her struggle. It's not saying if you're not black you can't enjoy the album or you won't understand the album. It's actually probably really good for you to listen to the album and understand how to be an ally in what other people are going through, and understand that, like, especially when it comes to privilege and things like that, we're not saying you are getting something overtly, because we're just saying we're not getting the same as you, and that in itself is a privilege. And listening to this album and hearing multiple people talk about different types of suffering, different aspects of community, and different aspects of just their life is something everybody should listen to. If they're like, I'm hoping we find albums just like that. Like Robin's Body Talk was more geared towards the female outlook on life and her experiences. I'm sure we're going to hit other albums on this list that will target a demographic that we maybe don't know the most about, and will educate us and help us understand someone else's culture more. And that's what this album does for people who haven't had the opportunity to actually talk to someone in the black community, or maybe don't know how to approach the black community in an ally way.
Agreed.
Yeah, again, fantastic album. Well, this has been one of the bigger surprises on the list for me so far. If I had to have like a sneaky pick of like favorite, this would probably be it so far.
Yeah, it's definitely up there so far.
Mm-hmm. But with that, Alec, it is that time for you to give the people what they want, and that is a shout out.
Is that really what the people want, man? Is a shout out?
I don't know. I'm just assuming because I like it.
Okay, yeah. Well, shout out to all the people that are here for this. You know, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys a lot.
I appreciate those that don't like the shout outs too. Like I don't hate you for it. Like I get it.
If you get to the shout outs, just even if you are a family or friend and you're listening and you get to the shout out, even text us, message us, just let us know that you get to the shout outs. Because that'd be cool if we know how many people got there just for one episode. As always, if you want family and friends and don't have our personal numbers, leave a comment on Facebook or Twitter or on Podbean or YouTube, wherever you're listening, and let us know that you make it to the shoutouts and you like being shouted out. We appreciate you a lot. This is a long series. We're doing 2 a week, and there's 100 albums, so that's 50 weeks of us talking about music. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We enjoy it. It's a good experience for us as brothers, just expanding our music and getting to talk about it. Get to learn a lot about each other through it. So until next time, we hope that you guys have a great day.
Yeah, have a great day.
Deuces.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.